In today's video, we're going to talk about the Flash movie because it's coming out very soon. There's some crazy rumors still that I find very interesting and that are coming from really reputable sources. Also, there's been fan screenings last week. There's fan screenings pretty much till the actual theatrical release of the movie. Also, James Gunn has come out recently and said something angrily about Superman Legacy, but to be honest, I kept saying that. James, you cannot debunk every single rumor because there's too many rumors. So, yo, what is freaking good, YouTube? Watch you here. If you are new around, and make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, Kaiju, Monsterverse, pop culture-based content that we tried to cover on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below. Are you hyped for the Flash movie, even though they're literally over-marketing this movie to the point where they're ruining their own movie, in my opinion? But I am really looking forward to this movie, so yo, let's get into it. So, The Flash is screening the movie recently in Australia, the Cannes Film Fest. They're even going to start screening it in America pretty soon, and even in England pretty soon. So it comes out officially June the 16th. So, are they showing the actual finished version of the movie? No, they're not. They're just showing the same screening they shown at CinemaCon nearly a month ago now. And also they showed around some fanboy kind of screenings around UK and around a bunch of other places. But it's not the finished version. Andy Mache recently took to the internet to say it's not the finished version and there will be somewhat things added. So he alluded to 10 to 20% of the movie will be different by the time it hits the screen. And obviously the ending and the post-credit scenes haven't, well, there is an ending, careful for spoilers, I don't want to ruin your life. There is an ending which is an ambiguous kind of Batman's not going to be Batfleck. He's not going to be Robert Pattinson. He's not going to be Michael Keaton. It's kind of like a faceless, ambiguous scene, unless they're going to add the new Batman. We don't know, but for some reason, until the actual premiere of the real movie with the real ending and the real post-credit scenes, they're basically screening a movie they're happy with, which I find odd because if the final version of the movie is done, then why do the trailers for the VFX and CGI look so poor? They've plowed that much money into this movie, and if you look at movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, there really wasn't any VFX problems there. There shouldn't be any issues. They've delayed this movie for over a year. So they've got no excuses if there's any VFX problems with this movie. So if you have watched the Flash movie, let me know down below. Is it as good as what people are telling you? I don't know. It is odd. Tom Cruise said he liked it. Stephen King said he liked it. One of the Russo bros now says he likes it. I'm waiting for Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner and Cristiano Ronaldo to come out and say they liked it. Hell, Wall Street might even say he likes it at some point. But I'm not watching it until I can actually see the real version with the real ending and the real post-credit scenes. So, careful for spoilers. This could be rumor territory. Could be real territory. But I've heard on the grapevine, there's a reason they are holding the real ending and the real post-credit scenes back. Now, a lot of people are on the fence for this movie, and I get it. In order for this movie to make a lot of money, it's got to appeal to the general audience, the normies, i.e. people that won't watch my content, people that aren't that invested in DC and Marvel, the general audience, you know, who go watch Fast 10 and Super Mario Bros. Movies and stuff like that. That's how you make money. But I do think they're oversaturating their own movie. And I do read comments from people like, yeah, Stu, you're lying. They've barely shown anything based on people that have seen it. I've literally spoke to a lot of people who have watched the real full movie, or at least the CinemaCon version of the movie. And they're like, yeah, they've pretty much shown everything in the trailers. Except for some Speed Force-based stuff and some Easter eggs here and there. They're not going to drop an Easter egg in a trailer. Behave, lads. They're not going to do that. So what I've heard is the following. And I already know the reaction to this because the reaction from my tweet, people like, yo, bro, you're capping. So I've heard that Grant Gustin said he wasn't in the movie, but then again, so did Toby. Then again, so did Andrew, but they were in the movie. Okay, it's not the same thing, but it kind of is the same thing. An actor, when they get asked if they're in a movie and they've signed an NDA, basically it's part of their contract, they're not allowed to say anything. He's not just gonna come out and say, yeah, I'm in the Flash movie. So I've heard that Grant Gustin, who is the greatest Flash ever, much better than Ezra Miller currently, because I haven't actually seen the movie. And also it's a bit unfair to compare like a multi-million-dollar movie to a low-budget CW program. So I've heard the reason they're holding the post-credit scenes and the real ending is Grant Gustin is gonna be revealed to be none other than Eobard Thawne, the Reverse Flash. Now, that would be iconic. That would be legendary if that happened. Why? Because Grant played Barry Allen. He played the Flash. He played Savitar. He played a lot of different variations of the Flash, but predominantly he played the Flash, as in Barry Allen and the Flash. So, to make him the Reverse Flash in a movie would be freaking nuts. That would be the biggest heel turn ever if they were to do that. Now, I've heard this from 2 different people. I've also heard it from someone else who says it's completely made up. But I think it's fair to say, in the realms of comic book movies, it's possible. It really is possible. But I was also told this is something that hasn't been shown to said public. So it's come from a source. It's come from 2 different people, actually, have told me the exact same thing. And they've actually told me details of how the scene plays out. But I don't know if it's true or if it's not true. So it would be interesting. But I've definitely been told there is a Reverse Flash in the movie. Not just a yellow lightning flashing up when Nora Allen dies. We all know that's got to happen. We all know that's a set point in the timeline. It's got to happen. I've been told it is literally Grant freaking Gustin. And that would be sick. War Stew, when did they film it? Literally, he's been shooting The Flash season 9. Oh yeah. He can film that scene whenever and then they add it in digitally. So it's not a problem of he'd get seen doing it. He could have done that in Vancouver where they filmed The Flash, or where they filmed The Flash before it finished. So it could potentially happen. I've also been told Henry Cavill Superman scene has been re-added into the movie. And the reason they're not putting it out there is because they want word of mouth. They want the word of mouth to get people talking when it comes out theatrically, as in people paying for it, as in customers who actually pay for the movie. Not press screeners, not fan events where you get free cinema. You get free sweets, free drinks when they finesse you to say good things. Yo, War Stew, you shouldn't be saying that. I'm just being real and transparent. I go to a lot of press screeners. I go to a lot of red carpets. I've been to a lot of screeners. I know what they do. They finesse you, give you free stuff, make sure you're looked after. So you say the movie's great. But the real thing will be when it comes out theatrically. So are they going to add the Superman scene back in with Henry Cavill Superman? I don't know, but I've been told that Grant Gustin's Reverse Flash. I've also been told that Henry Cavill Superman scene has been added. And I've also been told there's a lot of stuff that's going to be added into this movie that no one knows about. And if this is truly as good as what everyone's saying, then there's got to be something. And we've had people come out and say stuff like, if you're a Flash fan, you're really going to love this movie. Then Eobard Thawne's got to appear. And also, the end of the movie is supposed to set up the new DC Cinematic Universe, but it's also supposed to set up the Flash 2. But then at the same time, I've heard it's left ambiguous to the point where Barry Allen may not even be the Flash in the Flash 2, and it could be Bar Allen, it could be Wally West, it could be Kid Flash, it could be like a different Flash. But I don't think that's the right route to go down in the new DCU, because the Flash is well known, sure, but Kid Flash, Bar Allen, they're not as well known. So to go down that route would be, I think it would be premature, because just because this movie does well, a lot of people, the Snyderverse fans, the Snyder Bros, think it's a throwaway movie and it's like a love letter to the DCEU fans, which it somewhat is, because Batfleck's in there and it's pretty much set in the Snyderverse without being set in the Snyderverse. And it is published under DC Studios because DC Studios runs DC. James Gunn clearly had input on the ending scene with the ambiguous Batman, because we know that, because the original ending was supposed to be, careful spoilers, I don't want to ruin your life, but they're never actually probably going to show this. It would be cool is Batfleck was going to get stuck somewhere, do a reverse BVS scene where Ezra Miller's going to Batfleck going, Lois is the key, am I too soon, am I too soon? It was supposed to set up Crisis on Infinite Earth. So we know it's definitely been changed because of the heads of DC Studios. And then I've got people saying to me, yeah, it's not a DC Studios movie, it's a DCEU movie, but James Gunn's had input into this. The ending's clearly been changed because Batfleck was going to ask the Flash for help and it was going to set a crisis. So it's clearly been changed. Is this a throwaway movie? I don't know, because all the plot leaks have been consistent. Even the test screen information we had from CinemaCon, which was really a test screening because it wasn't the finished version, no post-credit scenes. If there is no post-credit scenes, it's not a finished movie. I don't care what you say. So it was a test screen movie. And that information was pretty darn close to the initial information we've had for over a year. So when we have pages coming out saying, oh, if you watch the movie early, don't spoil things. Yeah, sure. I'm with that. You should not spoil things publicly. If you want to talk about stuff privately, that's cool. If you want to talk about stuff in the video and stuff, that's cool. Just don't put stuff in the thumbnail that could potentially ruin things. So I do find it funny when we have pages coming out, and this is not me coming at anybody, but they're having that many test screenings for this movie. They won't be able to keep up with social media accounts. So essentially, there's a lot of fan screeners, and it's essentially saying, don't spoil things online because Warner Bros. Will be looking at your accounts, and no, they won't be. It's that impossible. Trust me, they won't be. Not unless you've got a huge following. They only care for people putting spoilers out there if you have a huge following, realistically. There's been so many spoilers and leaks dropped from little accounts that have no following. They only seem to somewhat care when you've got a big following. So Flash ticket sales go on sale the 23rd of May, which is 1 day's time, which is tomorrow, which is cool. I really hope this movie does well because Warner Bros. Discovery is in $47 billion worth of debt and they've got to start making money back. So I really hope this movie is really good because I want all these people that keep saying like Stephen King, like Tom Cruise that was paid, and these Warner Bros. Partners that keep saying it's the greatest movie ever. It doesn't have to be the greatest movie ever. It just has to be a good DC movie. As soon as we've only had Black Adam and Shazam 2, it really wouldn't be hard to be one of the best DC movies in years, would it? No. So, also in the news, James Gunn has come out and literally said something that I said he would say a very long time ago. So, James Gunn said, if you don't hear anything from him or Pete Safran and or David Zaslav, it's fake. So, he had a big problem with fake leaks and fake scoops getting out there, but he made the problem harder for himself by debunking them, because if he's in charge of a studio like he says he is and like we believe he is, he should be that busy that he doesn't have time to keep debunking stuff. So, he recently said this: I'm getting barraged with fake bullshit DC rumors this morning. I'll just alliterate the general rule not to believe anything unless it comes from me or Peter, but unless it's especially egregious. I'm going to slow down on calling shit out. Sorry, I know it's one of my favorite traditions. There are 3 reasons for this. Some people are making up lies to get attention from me or to get clicks. I don't want to encourage that. 2, I've read 100 rumors this morning. One of them is half true. So I don't want to be used as a way of people to throw nonsense at the wall until something sticks. 3, I'm storyboarding Superman Legacy and don't have time. Have a great day. So a lot of people seem to think he can't storyboard stuff because of the writer's strike. What has the writer's strike got to do with storyboarding something? He's the head of a studio. He's a director. He might have written Superman Legacy, but storyboarding isn't part of the writer's strike. It's storyboard. That's nothing to do with the writer's strike. It's almost like people like to talk about things they have absolutely no idea about. So I do find it fascinating. So he's basically saying, even if information comes from trades such as Deadline, Variety, Heroic Hollywood isn't a trade, but you know, the wannabe trades and stuff. He's basically saying, unless it comes from him, unless it actually comes from him, it's made up, which is funny because the trades seem to think they are verified. And we have people saying verified sources. So sure, there is Reddit level stuff, which has been true a lot of the time in the past. Verified sources. Superman Legacy, the codename character Apex, is Jack, who will portray by a black actor. The codename character Blitz is an engineer. This information wasn't covered before it was revealed by Jeff Snyder. Now, Jeff Snyder is a verified source and he is pretty credible, but let's go back to what James said. James Gunn. Not him, not Peter, then it's made up. There is a third codename, Ghostman, who will be the Doctor. Eve Tech Marker will be Lex assistant as it's described as an influencer. Jimmy Olsen will be an open casting call with actors from all backgrounds being looked at. Lanterns, Damian will be the executive producer and Tom King will be the writer. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Annie will write this film. Clayface, Mick Fadigan is set to write and direct this. So I do find it interesting how James Gunn's literally come out and said stuff, and then it's like verified sources. I don't think working for a trade makes you a verified source. It means you have industry sources, sure, bro, but it doesn't actually mean anything past that. So the first Flash reaction to come out of Cannes said this: the film was a treat, a great moment. The character very endearing and touching. I loved it and found the innovation scenes with particular special effects I really love. So you're saying the special effects are cool. Awesome. And also, they did reveal a new featurette with Michael Keaton behind the scenes and stuff. I'll try and put it in this video unless it gets a copyright claim and then I can't actually put it in the video. But I do find all this stuff interesting, how James Gunn's literally come out and said, unless it comes from me, do not believe anything. So Is that information on Reddit true? Seeing as James Gunn said only one thing is half true somewhat, I don't believe stuff on Reddit because James Gunn likes to keep everything to himself, which I find very fascinating. So that's it for this video. Let me know down below. Do you think Superman Henry Cavill will appear in the Flash movie? That really would bolster numbers if they were going to do that. And also, if they made the Reverse Flash Grant Gustin or some kind of variant of Grant appearing as the Black Flash or Reverse Flash, would be freaking insane. Did you manage to get a fan screening of the somewhat finished version of the movie, but it's not actually the finished version until it comes out theatrically on the 16th of June in most countries? Let me know down below. Are you hyped for the Flash movie? And if you think I'm not hyped for the Flash movie, then you're really wrong, because why would I keep covering a movie if I'm not excited for said movie? Sure, I can criticize and critique my concerns about the weird way they're marketing the movie, but sure, I still think The Flash is going to be a very good movie. From what I've heard from people who have visually seen it with their own eyes and heard it, it does sound like a pretty cool movie. But as I keep saying, it doesn't have to be the greatest comic book movie ever for it to be a good movie. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WarStew to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter, WarStewG, and then we'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.